Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Cryptids and Monsters video. Alright, let's go ahead and we'll do another entry here based on your suggestions. This one again following the theme involving these crazy cryptids from the lumberjack tales. This one is a very great suggestion and I'm going to go ahead and dedicate it to my cat here, Tum Tum, because it has to do with a particular legendary cat, a lumberjack cat if you will, that apparently roamed the days of Oregon and then also Washington back during the lumberjack era and is purportedly still roaming those areas to this very day. And it has to do with a creature that is known for one simple tactic, and that is its way that it tries to get food from trees. And the cryptid I'm talking about here is known as the Splintercat, which you're looking at a picture of or a drawing of here. Now the Splintercat, basically it's just like your average cat. I don't know exactly the size of it because various drawings that I saw seem to depict it either like the size of a cougar or maybe even as small as a household cat, but it's basically just like your average cat. So no real difference in terms of that factor, although some drawings that you'll see throughout this video either seem to have it with little spikes coming out of its body, or in some cases it seems to have like an extra thickness to the top of its head. But otherwise, just think of your average cat, and that happens to live in the forest, and this is what this thing is. Now, as far as that tactic that I was just talking about, and having it be just a very special item, here's what it does. It only hunts at night. It's a nocturnal creature, and it's known for its bad attitude. Like, this is a creature that is always on the hunt, always on the prowl, and seems to always be in a foul mood. And the reason for this is because it uses one simple way, at least for itself, to gather food. Rather than, let's say, using its claws to try to climb up trees and grab hold of prey, or using its legs to try to, like, let's say, run as quickly as possible and then pounce on its prey itself. No, this is how it gathers its food. When it sees any kind of prey that happens to be within a tree, like in this case it seems to be that its favorite things are either raccoons or bees, or presumably other things as well, like let's say birds or lizards, whatever happens to have, let's say, a nest associated within the tree. This is what it does. It runs and it gathers up speed, so much so to the point that it's considered terrific speed. Like, this thing is moving really, really fast, and the whole point is it's trying to get as much momentum as possible. And the reason for this is because when it's reached its optimum speed, it then lunges straight towards the trunk of the tree itself, and it smashes its head right on that trunk. And the whole purpose of this is it's trying to knock the branches straight off the tree itself. If it runs as fast as possible, it builds up enough momentum as possible, and then when it slams into the tree as fast as possible, if it does it right, then it'll actually strip the branches straight off the tree and leave it standing as a quote-unquote silvery ghost. And then that way, whatever happens to be within those branches, like let's say the aforementioned raccoons, or maybe a hive of bees, or anything involving like those birds or whatever else again happens to have that nest, lands on the ground, and then it is easy prey for this thing. Again, it's a curious trait because most cats, of course, they have some of the best hunting abilities in nature altogether. They use their senses so wonderfully, and then of course they happen to have those claws that really do the trick when it comes to them pouncing on prey. Why this thing, the Splintercat, does not do that, I have no idea. Why it goes through the extra effort of utilizing its head in such a dangerous and risky manner, I have no idea. but that seems to be its trait. That's why some of these drawings you're seeing, like, it seems to have a larger amount of mass on its head, either some kind of armor or built-in armor, like just straight from its body, to try to let's say absorb. Maybe it's part of its skull, or maybe it's some other part that it adds on, but who knows. But it uses this to try to soften the blows that it has from repeatedly hitting these tree trunks. By the way, the easiest way to know if you're around one of these splinter cats is to look for these trees. Look for the ones that happen to have something that stands out. Like, they're the only ones that have no or very little to no branches on its tree, and they look to have its bark essentially just torn off straight from the trunk. If you see several of these within your area, then you know you happen to be with a splinter cat. This is also kind of a bad thing because, as I mentioned earlier, this thing, it's always in a bad mood because of the constant headaches and the constant pain that it suffers from those impacts. And so if you run into one, then when that happens, then try to get away as quickly as possible, because this is one creature you're not advised to approach. Again, as far as the locations and where it's found, if you happen to be in the Oregon locations, if you happen to be in Washington State, also apparently Rocky Mountains is another one of its localities. It's also found near the Great Lakes, all the way towards apparently the Gulf as well. So this is a creature that has made its home throughout many parts of the U.S. And again, the telltale signs are whatever's happening with the trees, but also you might want to hear and listen next time you're in a wooded area here in the U.S. And if you hear that large cracking that has to do with sudden impacts towards a tree, then again, you're going to be near a splinter cat as well. Any other details as far as, let's say, encounters with the splinter cat? None too many, really. People haven't really found themselves in too many situations with this creature. Just the usual with regards to these lumberjack tales. It's friend of a friend, or they knew someone that purportedly encountered this thing. No known images, video, sound, nothing along those lines with regards to this creature. It's just one of those legendary lumberjack tales that was told who knows how long back, and to this day still seems to survive somewhat. So what do you guys think? The splinter cat. If anyone has any more information about this curious creature, that'd be great to hear. Any known locations that I hadn't mentioned, as particularly any encounters that someone might have, that would be awesome to hear too. And most importantly, if anyone has any more footage, like let's say an actual place, like let's say a tree that is truly something like the remnants of an attack from the splinter cat, or even then something involving like actual images or video, that would be great to hear too. And again, this video is dedicated to my beautiful cat here, Tum Tum, who always seems to have, let's say, a bad attitude as well. So alright everybody, thanks again as always, take care.